Mm, Let's not wait, and let me introduce you to Olivier, who is our new CTO. So Olivier won't replace Moshe or anyone else. Moshe will focus on the overall company efforts, while Olivier now is in charge of everything technical. So please, Olivier, can you introduce yourself, talk a little bit about you and what you are planning to do at Aleph?
Yeah, so lots of things. So yeah, great to be there. So first story, essentially, this is not my first time working at ALF. I'd worked here 2 years ago, and worked mostly on core channel nodes at the time. But yeah, essentially since then I've been exploring Web3, both at Starknet and then at Eclipse. And then I think we talked with Moshe and the Visions Alliance because I think DeepIn today is a very hot topic. We see a lot of players entering back the arena or waking up from their slumber, I would say. And yeah, I think ALF is prone to do something there because I think actually a lot of the features that ALF today has are things that the competition is still thinking about implementing in lots of ways. And so, yeah, essentially, I think there is a very bright future ahead for ALF if we manage to deliver on a few core promises, I would say, in terms of scaling the network and making it accessible to millions of users and scaling to data center scale, essentially. And that's going to be the main vision, I would say. And essentially, we're going to focus on the main initial core vision of ALF, which was decentralized AWS. And so right now we started with storage, Lambda functions, and instances there. The main step here first today is going to be to stabilize all this because the community knows these things have we've had a few hiccups in the past few weeks around these. So the first step is going to be that, and then once we are happy with that, the next step is to move up the chain, get really up to scale, and yeah, basically go towards the full cloud scale, essentially.
Well, thank you very much for that. It was a long yet very interesting introduction. Before we go to more question, to the public question, we have some questions unanswered from the last AMA, which I will read it to you. So can you try an exercise where you first iterate the main problem Aleph is solving, brief as possible, and then go deeper by asking to that answer why is that a problem, and do that a few times for each subsequent answer till really clear pains, alternatively risk or opportunity. Basically, the question is, what kind of problem are we solving? So what are the problems? What are we solving?
Okay. Well, I'll take the question. Multiple things at once. I think there is first a question of sovereignty over your data and your compute. Today, when you stand up for a cloud platform, you're essentially tied to them and to their security practices and to their willingness to play ball. So this is definitely a problem with major players, as we've seen. This space is dominated by American companies, and yeah, we have basically no guarantees about their respect of laws, of European laws especially. It's actually known legally that these guys have been sending data that they shouldn't have sent over to the US so that they can dissect it and pass it over to whomever needs it. And they are basically, there is a big question of, I would say, monopolies. And here, in general, decentralization is there to help break these monopolies into more sensible entities, I would say. And here the logic is to say, well, can we provide an entity here where first we break silos, where we actually, do not need to control the whole supply chain from the very high level functions that the user are using to the data centers themselves, to the hardware. And second is, can we provide guarantees, cryptographic guarantees, mathematical guarantees, essentially, or protocol level guarantees that your data is safe, that your data belongs to you, that you decide what is done with your data, and that essentially you are free to keep your data safe from any player that you don't want to share your data with. So that is kind of the core promise. Now, in terms of problem that we're solving more practically, because that's kind of the, I would say, idealistic vision here. In terms of pragmatism, I would say in Europe today, you have lots of data centers, lots of small cloud companies. And as we do in Europe, you have 20, I think we're 27 still in the union, and you have 27 ways of doing the same thing. And essentially the vision here would be to say, can we provide a way where data centers focus on their core job, which is to provide machines that are live, that have great uptime, that can be replaced if there is an outage or something. Can they focus on that job? And can we provide the software layer that runs on top of that? Because essentially they are all these players are implementing the same primitives like S3 or Kubernetes support or something, and we see these guys really reinventing the wheel there. And the question is going to be, can we actually provide the same service for them, and can we, through decentralization here, guarantee to these that we are in a symbiotic relationship instead of a parasitic one where we try to extract the maximum benefits of the system? And so here it's kind of a way to aggregate smaller players into a big one, which is, I would say, a different way of doing things, something that we have to try in Europe if we want to play against the American giants.
If I can add something there, the thing that could be interesting is to see, like, in the world that is shaping today, we have very clear issues with like countries trying to like cut underwater fibers, or incidents like today where some fibers in Paris were cut. It looks like a wider incident. Our Paris data center wasn't the only one affected. A few of them were. When you have actors that are cutting fibers, when you have issues like this one and others, you risk having what was called back in the days a net split. It happened before internet was really advanced. Net splits was when internet was cut between different poles, and you could see that on IRC back then for those who played with that. And when you reconnect, the whole state might be inconsistent. And if this happens with the current state of the cloud, everyone is fucked, like totally everyone. While on the other end, if you have a decentralized cloud network where you can have data replicated around multiple places in the world, where the network can continue to live even if those cables are cut, because when it happened in Paris, if we were a totally centralized system, our whole network will have gotten down. No, it still works. Machines hosted on some CRNs continued to work. Stuff continued to work separately. And so that's where we need to go to like have a totally decentralized cloud that is resilient even in case of wars, in case of full internet splits and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you very much. Are we done with this question, or you guys want to add something more? No, it's okay? Cool. So next question is, I'd like to know what the current roadmap looks like. What are the next milestones? Are there been any change to the team's overall strategy? Can we expect some new clients in the near future? Can we expect some new clients in the near future? It's not a valid question. We are all expecting new clients in the near future. But anyway, we are not going to disclose anyone that is not signed yet.
Yes, that's sure. But on the other end, we have a lot of conversations, and we also have Gan, whom you might have saw in previous AMAs or around the world, who is our new head of BD, who is working tirelessly to find new leads and to start conversation with teams and try to bring teams to build on top of Aleph. And it's working. We have new people lined up in that leads funnel. There are also people who are building on Aleph without us knowing, and there is a lot. So that's pretty cool. And also, if I might add something, we are not always aware of all the people building on top of Aleph or like using Aleph for their stuff, because it's a permissionless network. Anyone can use it. So whenever people come to us, we can help and we support, etc. But people can just come and build and do stuff, and we won't even be aware. So yes, you can likely expect some, because there is a whole sales funnel and system put in place. As clients for the network or more likely users of the network. But yeah, we can't disclose anyone first. And second, might not even be aware of all of them because it's a permissionless network.
So regarding the roadmap, maybe I don't know who wants to take the lead on that.
I'm sure I can address a few things. So right now, I would say the roadmap is first today to finish the job on credit system and to stabilize the network. I think that's going to be the North Star for the end of the year. That's really, we've seen too many issues with the network lately, and this has to be absolutely captured. And so basically that's going to be that. As for the future, I won't disclose too much. There are, of course, many ideas up in the air. I would say there is clearly, we see that the current architecture is showing its limits in a few places. You can, of course, think about, well, a new architecture might be needed, but I won't say too much more than this because we're currently, just thinking about what are the next steps for Aleph, essentially.
This is Aleph 2.0, but it's too early to talk about it yet.
Yeah, I'd like you not to talk about it, please. So are there been any change to the overall, to the team's overall strategy? Yes, that's it. We are still building the same thing, a better cloud, better decentralized cloud with AI capabilities, etc. But it's going to be more. That's everything I can say about that, because so far we are in discussion about how to improve it. Next question, will it be possible to host Windows-based instances in the future?
Technically, nothing prevents you from doing that. Because if you choose the QEMU backend for your instances, you can. We don't provide images for Windows systems. Nothing would prevent you from doing that technically. No, in practice, that's a bit complicated. That's a good question. Olivier, do you think you might have an answer there or better than mine?
So I think you could technically run a VM indeed that runs on the current network, but I would say, would I advise it, or is it currently tested and am I guaranteed that it's going to work without a hiccup? No. So I would say coming in the future, probably, because this is something that's going to come as a request from power users, I would say later on in the future. But right now, this is not the main focus.
Also, if I might add something there, it's something that has been asked by some users / clients, because in the gaming industry, as we have talked in the past, one of my long-term goals is to be able to have solutions for gaming companies that could decentralize the world backend of their game, so that whenever they stop paying for game servers, the game continues to work, and the players of the game can pay for that game long-term support. And for that, a lot of game backends are running on Windows. Unfortunately, weirdly, I have no idea who would like to do a server on Windows, but that happens. And so we will need it for that use case at least. But that's for medium term, I would say.
And this will be the last question from the previous batch. Are there plans to support a newer version, of Python later than 3.9 for functions? I think you are muted.
I am muted, sorry. So yeah, definitely, 3.9 is slowly reaching end of life, so we need to support later versions. I don't think it's much of a problem. It's just that Python 3.9 has the advantage of backwards compatibility with a lot of systems. But yeah, there is no particular problem there to add this. I would say, yeah, it's a comfort update, I would say, for users. So yeah, definitely we can add that to the planning. I don't think it's much of an effort either. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Olivier. I think that maybe we could open the chat to questions, except if you guys want to talk about what you are doing, what is in the making right now.
Yeah, I mean, what's in the making right now, I think it can be summarized in 2 words. It's Grafana dashboards for every freaking thing in the network that we can monitor. I would say we saw some gaps in monitoring on CRNs, and I got requested as well by a few members of the community to work on ways to observe what's going on their servers. So definitely this is coming. Overall, yeah, monitoring improvements of stability over the place, and that is going to be the main focus, yeah, until it's done.
Okay, well, thanks, Olivier. So let's open the chat. If you guys have any question, please raise your hand or write it in the chat so we can answer it. And if we don't have any questions, then we can close this AMA for today. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Moshe, Claudio, and Olivier. And we'll see you next month then.
Great.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, guys.
See you.
Cheers.